Afternoon, everybody. Thank you for coming and being here. It's really nice to see so many people I know. Hello, hello, hello. It's awesome. Amazing. I'm going to start with a disclaimer. It's the best way of doing things. That print is tiny. I feel weird being in this space, but I'm having the best time. And I feel like I've got kind of like my imposter syndrome written large over everything that I do. So the slides are merely a serving suggestion. In as much as the way that onion sauce is being served on the plate there, it's like the vegetables are doing a lot of the heavy lifting. It's not the onion sauce isn't the star of that show. So it's like the presentation is just going to be in the background reminding me that I'm supposed to be doing a thing and talking about a thing, which is pretty much like putting a cat on a railroad, to be perfectly honest. It's going to come out the way it comes out, and thank you for bearing with me, or not. You can always go and see what else is going on, I guess. Hello, I am Lee Holder when I'm at work. I'm Lee Chaos at play. That distinction is really, really confusing for me. I used to have a barrier there, now I don't. What I do at the moment is I work for a disability charity in Gloucestershire called The Music Works. And I'm the disability lead, which leads me to create lots of accessible instruments for people to allow them to access ways of making music. Super awesome job. I'm also on the board for SoundSense, who are a bunch of community musicians, and the chair of Drake Music as well, who do that sort of stuff nationally. What I used to do was be in bands, run record labels, run nightclubs, get heavily involved in music any way that I possibly could. So I'm an undiagnosed neurodivergent, I guess, I don't know. I've done enough training sessions. Woo, yeah! You can do that with me, it's fine. I'm used to being on stage, so a bit of audience participation. It makes me feel more comfortable. I've got more gig experience than I have of presenting, so don't be a static audience. Feel free to shout. I'm not down with heckles, not until I've had a couple of rums. But yeah, feel free to join in, audience participation style. There's going to be a bit of that. Incidentally, I should say, if you want to be more involved, move to the front rows. This is where the exciting stuff's going to happen if I get my timings right. Realised I haven't even started my timer. Right, okay, make it go. There we go, we're 3 minutes in. It's fine, it's fine. What are you doing? Doesn't matter, it's cool. They're a nice crowd. Somebody told me just be yourself. And now look what's happened. Right, okay. So, undiagnosed neurodivergent, tick. Right? I'm a they then with half a decade of gender confusion, still looking for a label that suits me, no idea. We'll work it out sooner or later. I'm a member of the Hidden Disabilities Club, as 97% of the population are. That's an interesting stat. I haven't got that on a graph anywhere, but it's one worth remembering. Only 3% of people with disabilities have a visual tell. Psh, mind blown. I am an accessible music technology evangelist, because it's got me where I am today, for better or worse. So that is something that I'm now using as a label, and a music hacker. Now I'm giving a spoilers here. Music hacker is the label I'm now using for a very, very specific reason. What I'm not is a college lecturer, because I tried that. Can you imagine giving me a syllabus based on what you've just seen happen here? Terrible, terrible. I'm all over the place. The kids are coming in going, I don't want to teach today. And I'm like, nor do I. Let's do something else. What do you want to do? So I'm not a college lecturer anymore. I'm not an academic, so my stuff isn't based on research, it's very much vibes based. So I'm just going to go into spaces and go, I don't know, let's make this up as we go along. We call that child-centered approach, apparently. So that's nice, so I've now got a reason/excuse to be doing that. I'm not an academic, but I love going into academic spaces. I've just come back from NIME conference, which is a new instrument for musical expression, where I was there for 4 days and had my mind blown every 15 minutes by somebody's talk. It's just not the way my brain works to organise that kind of stuff, so I don't claim to be an academic, full imposter syndrome mode. I'm not a musician. This is an interesting one, and it does form a basis of a lot of my talk on here as well. Not normal, but in this field, I don't know, maybe I'm a bit less not normal than normal, if that makes sense. Yeah, let's go with that. And I don't care. That's the thing, I'm just me. It's like I'm going to full Tigger mode. I'm just me. I'm the only one, and I just do things that way. Right, okay, bit of time travel. It's 1983, Return of the Jedi has just come out. Arguably the best Star Wars film. Thank you. Everyone says Empire. It's easy to end on a downer when you know there's another film coming. So it's not a self-contained masterpiece. Ewoks were going to be Wookiees, but then George Lucas decided small teddy bears were easier to market. So if you just imagine them bigger, It's absolutely brutal. Effectively, it's like Saving Private Ryan at points. Better film. Better film. Right, okay. I am a non-disclosed age. I really, really want to play the piano. I've been in the music room. I've grown up singing, having a lovely, lovely time. And I really, really want to play the piano. There's one in the music room. Nope, absolutely not. So the piano, my hands are not particularly big. So, and also, I've got the opposite of a double joint in my wrist as well, which makes it kind of painful for me to put my hands like this to play the piano. So physically, the piano is not really the instrument for me. Cognitively, I really struggle with reading music, and I still can't. I now consider myself to be stave illiterate, and I'm fine with that, but it's taken me a long time to come to terms with it. When you think about the number of levels of extraction that you have to do to take those dots and then transpose them and move them down to a keyboard, holy crap, that's asking your brain to do a lot. And my brain can't do that. So financial limitations, my parents were not well off. They couldn't afford a piano. Where are you going to put a piano in a council house? So I can't do that. I don't have time because I'm studying to do lots of other things. And the aspirations of me is like, oh, you're never going to play the piano because you're poor and weird. So it's like a lot of people didn't really have an idea that it's like that would be a thing that I could do. And let's talk about the piano for a moment, shall we? It's big. That is the main thing about a piano. There aren't many instruments that are bigger than it. It's heavy. Okay? Moving a piano anywhere is difficult. It could kill you. It is under an amount of tension that is frightening. There's a thing called Scrap Club. I don't know if anybody's been. Thank you, my Scrap Club allies. You get to hit things with hammers. And that's it. That's the entire gig. So you get to break things. It's like a rage room, but it's really, really cool. It's run by an amazing guy called Wajid, who then turns it into music and is one of my absolute heroes. Did he let you smash them? Did he let you smash them? Did he? He wouldn't let me smash the piano. Oh, amazing. He let you smash the piano. Those things are under a lot of tension, so they're dangerous. You should never set fire to a piano because the whole thing can implode and it can take your arm off. So that's a problem. It's expensive. This one here, I think, was £38,000. Who's got a spare 38 grand in their back pocket? If so, you can come and talk to me later, but that's a different conversation. It's almost impossible to move. If you move a piano, it gets annoyed with you and goes out of tune. It requires maintenance, so people have to come to your house and you have to give them money. It needs a stable climate-controlled environment, which I didn't have at the house. I remember growing up in quite a damp environment. It's a profoundly elitist instrument, and it's a piece of furniture with main character energy. I can't be doing with it. I can't be doing it with it. So me and the piano, I love the sound of a piano, but it wasn't for me. And the thing about the piano is it's not always been like that. Okay, the piano has become standardized over time. When it was originally out in sort of 17th, 18th century, I don't do numbers, sorry, it was all different shapes and sizes. And part of this is Bach's fault because of, go on, say the German word because I can't, the even-tempered clavier meant that what they did was they took notes that were very close together. So let me get this right, because I don't speak music. So it's like a B, a C sharp, and a D flat. Aren't technically the same, but they're close enough that you can get away with it. So when that piece of music came out, it just basically created a whole bunch of music, which is still used for training purposes, that basically simplified the way the piano was, and kind of like that then became the standard for a lot of Western music. And then a lot of repertoire was then based on that set of repertoire as well. Oh, it's got the number there. That was smart. Oh, yeah, that's cool. Meanwhile, in the East, they weren't doing that. So a lot of our idea of what an instrument is based on that. So the piano down there is actually a small-scale piano. Can you imagine what it's like if you're kind of like left-brained and you had the low notes down here and the high notes up there? Or the idea that this piano was actually this big, but it was still 88 keys. So my hands, again, were trying to fit an instrument that was a very, very strict and specific size. Not happy about it. These instruments were then mass-produced after a while. So it just became, this is how we make a piano. This is the instrument. I remember a school sports day where we were all trying to do hurdles. And anyone who couldn't jump over the hurdle was just sent back to the pavilion. And I remember that to this day as being like a profoundly dehumanizing experience. And I've realized through my journey that that is exactly what we do with instruments. We go, that's the instrument. If that doesn't fit you, you can't play it. Okay, it's 1987, Robocop's come out. Thank you. Excellent, another film that blew my mind, fantastic. Robocop 2 and 3, it's a shame they never made those, isn't it? Right, okay. A lot of my music history is from this statement. Have we got any Guns N' Roses fans in here? No, right, oh no. Yeah, the second Appetite for Destruction came out, I sold my entire metal collection. This is a true story. And I then went and bought a whole bunch of records by Cabaret Voltaire. And that was my gateway into electronic and experimental music. And I do not regret that decision one bit. Absolutely not. I am taking apart radios and starting to hack things. And what it turns out is called circuit bending, but I didn't know it at the time. They're not mains radios, which is why I'm still able to give this speech today. And I was writing poetry that was encouraged by a brilliant music teacher at the time that accidentally won some awards, and I felt slightly emboldened by that. And no one's telling me this is terrible, incidentally. They're just letting me get on with it and, in fact, encouraging me to do so. So that's the earliest photo of me on a synthesizer. There we go. Oh, you can go, oh, it's fine. It's about 1986, 1987. That is a Sequential Circuits Pro 1. I'm in somebody's bedroom. This is a handmade, I don't know what it is, but we took it to gigs and it would blow up all the time. Everything's going into a Commodore 64. It's like, this is like the old stuff. So I was learning how synths work by reading the manuals, going to the library and getting books out. That seems like a foreign concept these days. I couldn't have got where I was without the popularization of MIDI. Did some of you see Laurie Black's talk in the Trash Compactor yesterday? The Deadly Synths one. If not, go and hunt it down. It's amazing. She talks about like the history of MIDI. It changed my life. It's like it allowed me to go from that idea of like I have to play it in real time to I can build this up piece by piece. Really, really important. 4-track recorders did the same for sound as well. So I did lots of experimental stuff like breaking into building sites with portable recorders and then throwing bottles around and capturing the sound. I think it's out of the statute of limitations now, so we're probably fine. It's not on my DBS anyway, and that's all that matters. So none of that is based on music theory. That is just me experimenting. So when I started to try and form bands, I'd have people go, what key is it in? And I'm like, it's a broken bottle in a building site. That's the sound I'm playing. It hasn't got a key. It doesn't fit with your way of working. Can't jam, because my brain doesn't work that quick, as I mentioned. I can't play in real time. Really, really struggle with that. These were painful barriers to me, because I wanted to be in bands so badly. Really, really wanted to be involved in that. So the reason that I don't call myself as a musician, because I can't do those things. But I am musical, and proudly musical. So what I can do is listen to something and being able to find out what tune it's in. In fact, my earliest childhood memory is me working out harmonic patterns to the sound of a Hoover that my mum was hoovering while I was off school because I had the flu. So that is like my earliest childhood memory of making music. So I liken it to the difference between being athletic and being an athlete. So I'm musical, but I'm not a musician. Okay, early band photo for... I'm gonna do it, because when else am I gonna do it? Any Chaos Engine fans in the room? Love that, thank you. You're probably eligible for a bus pass quite soon, aren't you? Now make sure you hydrate and take your ibuprofen, very important. Okay, so I started forming a band because I couldn't be in a band with anybody else, so I started my own one. Lovely thing about it, no internet, nobody filming me. There's very little evidence that this has happened. You can find bits of it on YouTube that I've allowed to continue. But it was lovely, we could just make mistakes. The other interesting thing is because we didn't have the internet, we couldn't research what bands we were into. It wasn't like you could go, hey, you like this dubstep heavy metal band, here are some algorithms suggesting a whole bunch of dubstep heavy metal bands. You didn't do it that way. You followed the breadcrumbs of like being involved with record labels and seeing what else was on there, which sometimes was wildly different and made for a much more eclectic experience for me. Not necessarily better, but definitely different. I've talked about that. Going to libraries, I used to just take out music all the time. I used to take out BBC sound effects and duplicate those tapes as well and try and make songs like that. How am I doing for time? 15 minutes already. Hasn't mentioned the Carrots. Are you in the right talk? Carrots are coming. Promise Carrots are coming. Okay, so I'm excited by all of this, as you might have told. I am very, very excited about doing these things. This doesn't stop. This is why I'm here now. This is literally like 40 years of excitement and me just getting absolutely stoked by all of this stuff. Right, okay, content warning. We don't like Nazis. Thank you, that's it. I'm not even phrasing that as a question. There's a few bits in here that I do need to talk about as we move on. This blew my mind when I found out about it. The idea of Crip time, the idea that normal time, the way that people perceive time is that, you know, you wake up, you go to work, You come home, you cook a meal, you go to bed. For people who experience a disability, that's not how it is. It's like they don't know what 12, 18 hours they're going to have in the day. They don't know when they're going to wake up. They don't know how they're going to feel. So their concept of time is entirely different because it's not as linear. It kind of like, I liken it to kind of like slurping up like boba tea. It's lumpy. It's like you don't know when you're going to get a good bit. You don't know when you're going to have the energy to do that. So it's a flexible approach to normative timeframes. This is super, super important. It means you're not going to show up the same day. This is really interesting for me when I started to find out about this. And not being able to do the task in real time. Oh goodness, it's like me and music. I can do it, I just can't do it the same as other people who are calling themselves musicians can do it. So this is interesting from the perspective of music history. So as soon as we start to get cheap, affordable electronics and we get things like the TB303 into people's hands, we've got music which is playing a sequence, but then you are adjusting that sequence, and that is the musical gesture. So that then is you moving into the concept of Crip time, because you're not playing it live, but you're playing it live. So it's slightly different. Have you experienced Crip time in lockdown? You may be entitled to a free paradigm shift. So for people, did you feel that during lockdown, that like the structures that were holding your life in place just fell away? And suddenly you were like, oh God, I don't know what to do during the day. That might have been the edge of your experience in Crip time, because nobody was there telling you you had to be at work for 9 and you could only leave when it was 5. So that for me is a really, really interesting thing. I'm sure I haven't done this concept justice, but there is a big, big movement in the moment to bring the concept of Crip time into the world of modular synth. And you've only got to throw a rock out there to hit somebody who knows more about modular synths than I do. So let's talk about disability a little bit. Disability is very much on a spectrum. This is where it gets a bit unpleasant. I'm going to prelude that. So the first time we're really talking about disability is with things like Nazism and the idea that people with disabilities are in some way substandard. We should get rid of them somehow. We should lock them up. We should dispose of them. We definitely shouldn't have a world where there is more of them. The charity model is saying, okay, we've got people with disabilities, let's let them do something nice, but we'll let them do it over there. We don't really want them as part of society. We're doing it as charity, we're doing it as a kindness. The medical model is like, let's fix your problems so you can go back to work. That's the key thing, is your productivity. You are determined to be a useful human by how productive you are. The social model is more about removing the barriers. And I love coming onto site and seeing how much trackway was led down here and how many people in wheelchairs are attending this festival. That's amazing. That's really, really cool. So that's the easiest barrier to look at. And one of my friends says, if you design for the edges, you get the middle for free, which I think is a lovely phrase. So if you put down trackway for people with disabilities, that's also going to benefit parents. It's also going to benefit people who are walking with sticks, all those kind of things as well. So the social model is the one that's kind of like prevalent at the moment. The new radical model I found out about like a couple of weeks ago, and I'm like, yes! It says new radical, I'm in. What does it mean? But it's about the idea of like a disability being a social construct based on your ability to function in a capitalist system. Justice is more important than equality. Yes! Problem is, we are there. And we are going backwards. And that is the scary thing. There is a backwards creep. We've seen it with Trump in America. We've seen it under a Labour government. Jesus Christ, I never thought I'd live to see the day of that. But yes, so that's something we need to be mindful of. Our new King of the North, we need to hold him to account for that one, to push it back this way. Right, okay, there's different ways of looking at inclusion as well. Exclusion is everybody outside. Segregation is doing things for disabled people, but separate. Integration is where you do it, but you leave those boundaries in place. Including is about including some, but not necessarily all, and I contend that there's probably an issue there with the gatekeeping around the music industry that plays into the gatekeeping around disability. True inclusion is everybody is invited. And I love to see it with like the EMOM stuff that we've seen up at the trash compactor, because genuinely everybody's there. Was it always like this? I'm going to rattle through this, I've just realised what the time is. Would we have got this far if it was? I don't think so. The thing that literally made me cry during this presentation, I can feel myself welling up again, was that they looked at Neanderthal bone records and they found that some of the Neanderthals lived to the age of 90, and there is evidence of Neanderthal Down syndrome children who are looked after to become almost teenagers. That doesn't happen in a dog-eat-dog world. Dog-eat-dog is capitalism, it is doctrine. We don't evolve as a species if we do that. Okay, Music, I also believe, is very, very important as a proto-language. There is evidence that Neanderthals sang before they had any kind of language at all, in much the same way as birds did. So music, super important into our evolution there. Inclusion matters, yeah, I said that. When did it all start to get so normal? Industrial age, Victorians. So the idea that people had to earn a living rather than just be. Okay. Yeah, there we go. Blame capitalism. So important I put it on my spreadsheet. Okay, wasn't it supposed to be about carrots? Okay, that's a really good point. Who's in here going, where are the carrots? Come on, you promised me carrots. Right, okay. Okay, who here can play the piano? Who here can play the carrots? Oh, you're confident for an EMF crowd. Are we ready? Unleash the carrots, wait! We have a technical. Okay, so a little story about this. It turns out that if you leave bags of carrots in a car, 2 cool blocks from your freezer are not enough to keep them cool for 72 hours and result in this. Now, this is not something I want to present on stage unless it's a 2D representation. So I'm going to thank Rory for saving my vegan bacon on this one. And bringing me the star of the show. Right, okay. So for this one, could I have a volunteer from the audience? Anyone who wants to come up on stage? I am now going to start getting ridiculous. Yes! Did you come to my Bleep House workshop yesterday? And did you make power noise for 3 hours? And was it like my favourite thing? You were an absolute star. Yeah, Santa might bring you some synthesizers if you're a good boy. That's all I'm saying. If you come around this side, that's it. All right, I'm going to show you how this works. We're going to need the dubstep as loud as is compliant with council regulations at this point. Right, okay, I'm going to hold this carrot. You're going to hold that carrot. And then we're going to give each other a high five. No! Louder! There we go, right, okay. This is pretty cool, right? Do you know what would make it cooler? More carrots! Right, okay. So what we're going to do is I'm going to give you another one. Anyone else want to get involved? I have not risk assessed this. Come to the stage. I've dynamically risk assessed this. Fantastic. Come along, my friend. Right, okay. Now, we're going to change things a little bit. I'm going to give you this carrot, okay? You are now the most important carrot around the table, okay?
Okay.
Again. How's your weekend been? Amazing. High five. Brilliant. Right, okay. It's good, but it needs more carrots, doesn't it? Right, there we go. Grab a carrot. Okay, this is the most important person here. High five. Great. Okay, we need more. Keep it coming. Right, okay. Are you up as well? Amazing. Fantastic. Keep them coming. I love this. It just turns into macrame, stroke shibari, and then everybody has a lovely time. Right, okay. High five. Ah, oh, brilliant. Right, okay. We're starting to get some rhythm on the go now. This is fantastic. Okay. Oh, yes, come on. This is amazing. Right, okay.
So we all need to be able to...
Yeah, all high-five that. Okay. Do we need to let him know that he's the most important carrot? Yeah. I'm going to write boss on here. There we go. Oh, this is why you should never buy Poundland Sharpies. Look. Kids, invest in proper Sharpies. That's my lesson. If you take anything from this talk, get proper Sharpies. Oh! Right, okay. Brilliant. That's it. Just tap. You don't need to hold because it does it one at a time. Okay, right. That's it. Oh, you haven't got a carrot. Okay. Oh, I'm not playing yet, but it's like. Oh, right. Okay. You got a carrot. You got a carrot. Right. Okay. There we go. This is brilliant. So just high five's the best. We've got vocals now. I reckon we've got room for one more.
Yeah.
Anyway, do you reckon you can dual wield?
Yeah.
Oh, yes. Dual wielding carrots. Come on up. Yep, I've got one left. I can split them in half. One in each hand, and then you're going to have to gently touch that fella's. Oh, it's doing both. Okay, that's interesting. We're doing a science now. Plug you in over there. Right. Okay, we good? Fine. Okay, there we go. That's it. If you just That's it, remember, he's the boss. Okay, so everyone hands up, carrot in one hand, hand up in the other. That's it. Right, should we have a go at conducting? Let's hear all the noises. Oh, yeah. Oh, man. That's it. So I'm going to count to 4, and we're going to try and do it in time. Let's see if we can get a piece of music, okay? 1, 2, 3, go! Woo! No in the face! Woo! Big woo to finish. Woo! Who had the woo? Woo! Yeah! Give it up for my volunteers. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Amazing. That's it. If you can get safely back to your seats, then I can say that that went much better than I expected because nobody died. Everyone had a lovely time. Why carrots? Why carrots? Why carrots? They're available. We managed to get these in a field. They're affordable. These cost, well, I paid a premium rate because Rory got them for me, obviously, so I'm paying an Uber tax on top of that. They're durable. Look at those. They're all in a good working state at the end of that. You could notionally turn them into a soup. They've got a high water content. That's important for the connectivity as well. They're biodegradable. I can chuck them in the field and it doesn't matter. Kids can take them home with them. It's fantastic. They're rich in vitamin A. They're good for your immune system. Did you know? Okay, I didn't exactly stick on brand when I was doing the research for this. They are approved by HRH King Charles III. Okay, mixed results. I didn't take this photo, but I was just to one side of him because I was actually invited to Windsor Palace for this. It was amazing. It was a day about community musicians. They had lots of really, really serious stuff. They had the International Gay Man's Choir there. And then the London Vegetable Orchestra turned up. And that was the bit that ended up on the news because Prince Charles is merrily playing Three Blind Mice on a carrot. And if it's good enough for the king, it's good enough for you. Okay, why carrots? Carrots are rich in beta-carotene and orange pigment, the body... I'm not going to say this, but basically, because I'm running out of time, I've got like 2 minutes left, carrots are one of the earliest memes because they were invented... It's like the Allies had invented radar and they didn't want the Nazis to know about it. And we don't like the Nazis, do we? No! Thank you. Right, so they told everybody that it was carrots that was giving pilots excellent sight, and it persists to this day, although there is actually a grain of truth to it as well. So, but that's not what I meant by why carrots. Okay, carrots confound expectations. It's one of the reasons that people who don't know me are probably here today, because they're like, what is this doing on the schedule? What does it mean? It removes the concept of what it means to be a musician. Super, super important. Removes the competitive nature of play. Everyone was working as a team here. Nobody was going, I'm the best carrot player. I've had lessons. No. Absolutely. This blew my mind. This is the one thing that I took from NIME. The idea that play itself is a dual concept. Okay? So when we say we play an instrument, what's actually happening is people might have two polar opposite views of what they mean. Some people are thinking ludus, which means play to win, like the game Ludo. It means it's competitive, it means that somebody's better, it means there's a set of rules. Paideia means just play for fun. Okay? It's like you might do if you were playing dress up or you were in a Wendy house and you were, playing shop or something like that. So I am more in that latter one, not the former one. In fact, I have less interest in that, music as a competitive sport, and more in this one of messing around and seeing what happens. So it removes barriers there. Everyone have a good time with the carrots? You knew what to do, right? Yeah, everyone was good. We could have got some wheelchair users in here as well. We can have carrots that dangle in front of people and you can headbutt them. That still works. So we're reducing the barriers to access. Again, back to my weird shaped hands. They come in many different shapes and sizes. If you've got a Waitrose, you can get them all colours, it turns out, so that's nice. And Tesco's, every little helps. So You can write on them, you can decorate them, you can cover them in googly eyes. That's all. I know I'm speaking to my people when I say that, right? Everything in the camp is covered in googly eyes. They introduced the notion of flexible interface design, so it doesn't have to be a keyboard. And immediately we're thinking about the way we make music in a different way. They develop cause and effect, which is really, really useful if you've got people with disabilities who need to have a reward for doing something. So we're actually exploring this at the Music Works from a physiotherapeutic point of view. And the touch interface extends beyond music, so you can actually have that triggering videos. You could actually have it checking to see what the weather is going to do. It doesn't have to be music. I'm putting the A in a little circle because I'm being creative. Do you see what I did there? But I'm putting it back in. That's the important thing. The idea that the arts and science are separate. Nah, get out. And it encourages collaborative play. Other boards are available. I'm using a Playtron. I'm using a piece of software called Koala because, as you can see, pretty robust and reliable. So carrots are the gateway vegetable. This is where it starts, but it's not where it ends. It can go anywhere. So we can be building all different sorts of instruments. My main thing in my day job is to take people who've been told that they're not musicians and get them making music again. So for me, the carrots being fun is a really, really important bit. So the idea of music being something you can only do if you reach Britain's Got Talent level, let's get rid of that as well. Music, all music is folk music. We come together to make it. We can still do that. It's just sometimes you might need a bit of tech to help you with that. So yeah, it's about looking for your instrument. The piano wasn't mine. The carrots, worryingly, people are calling me the carrot man now, which is inaccurate on both counts. They were calling me that when I was ginger and I'm grey now. So yeah, it's a bit of a return, a full circle moment. And it is memorable. So yeah, so if you're doing that, so my whole thing at the moment is about leaning into the difference. So being a non-musician in musical spaces, being the non-academic in academic spaces, being the non-teacher in teaching spaces, being the non-binary in binary spaces, and being an anomalous data point, an annoyance to people as much as I can. Very, very important. Yes, so it allows me to advocate for change, which is great, because a lot of industries are now listening. We've done some work with Sony, we've done some work with Ableton, we've done some work with others that I remember about how we make things more accessible. There is a sea change, we need to keep getting it moving in that direction. And community is how we survive this, as we saw from the Neanderthals as well to Luke. I'm over by 2 minutes, I'm so sorry. This is my reading list, read those. Thank you to the Music Works, they pay me. Thank you to Drake Music and Sound Sense. Oh, wait, it's coming back, there we go. And that's where you'll find all my slides. I'm surprised I got through that. I'll be at the Q&A. I can talk about this for days. Come and prove it. Thank you.